All right, good morning. I am the Pit Messiah, and this is the Quiet Storm live trading session for June the 30th, 2025. We've got a little bit of action early tonight. I just heard the alerts go off, so we're going to get to that. Before I get started, I'm going to rearrange things a little bit tonight. I'm kind of going to explain what it is that we do first, and then we're going to get into reviewing trades. So let's start with the basics. Let's go with something that hasn't been called. So this is the 1 hour chart on AAVE USDT. And what you see on the chart are a number of squiggly colored lines. These are exponential moving averages. An exponential moving average is the graphical representation of the last number of a certain number of candles. The yellow line is the 5 exponential moving average. The red line is the 13 exponential moving average. If you're looking at an asset, in this case AAVE USDT, on any time frame, if the red line is over the yellow line, that means that the sellers have control of the market on that asset on that time frame. Conversely, if the yellow line is over the red line, that means the buyers have control of that asset on that time frame. So we're clearly looking at AAVE USDT on the 1 hour, and sellers have control of the market currently. Now you have the 50 exponential moving average, the aqua line, the 200 exponential moving average, the gray line, and the 800 exponential moving average, the blue line. If they appear in this order, aqua on the top, gray in the middle, and blue on the bottom, you're looking at an uptrend on that particular asset on that time frame. Conversely, if the blue is on the top, the gray is in the middle, and the aqua is on the bottom, you're looking at a downtrend. So putting it all together to quickly analyze what we're seeing on AAVE USD on the 1 hour, the sellers are in control of the market, but we're in an uptrend currently. This is not something you want to take. This is why there's no trade marked on the chart, because there's no opportunity to take here. You wouldn't get in and buy at this point, because right now, the most likely scenario is a retest of the 50 EMA, and you would look for a cross of the 5 and the 13 for a possible entry to the buy side if that happens. But what's more likely to happen as you begin to analyze on higher time frames is that there's more and more room for this price to drop. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start evaluating what opportunities we do have in the market. Now we called EOS USD on the 15-minute, and right now it just called out a call on the 1 hour. So not only is it going to fall to our current take profit of 0.4811, but it's going to go even further all the way down to 0.4639. And I believe this is going to be a trend we're going to see throughout the night because of what's happening to Bitcoin. And I'll explain that here in a second. So this isn't an opportunity we need to take because we're already in it. Then we have Cardano, ADA versus USD. Same pattern. A reconfirmation of the call that we had on Friday to 0.5322 on the 1 hour, but it's going to fall to 0.5155. There's no need to re-enter the trade. But if you're not currently in the trade, your target would be 0.5155 on the 1 hour. So while we have time, let's take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin. What happened here? This is something I'm going to drive home. If you go down to a lower time frame, like the 15-minute, which is where most people are trading Bitcoin, you would see that you have the aqua on the top, the gray in the middle, and the blue on the bottom. So Bitcoin would have an upside bias. And people keep buying Bitcoin because of this short-term price action. That is a mistake, because if you go up in time frame, you see a very different story. So that's the 30-minute. Here's the 1 hour. Here's the 2 hour. Here's the 4 hour. But when you get to the daily, everything changes. Why? Here's the all-time high for Bitcoin at just under $112,000. Then you have a lower high where it hit 110.5. And now you have a third lower high. This is a downtrend. And price is below that trend line. So what you're about to see over the next couple of weeks or so is a pretty massive dump off of Bitcoin. And I'm going to show you where I believe it's going to go, because I've already had it marked off. I've been tracking Bitcoin since that all-time high. We took an entry at 108,073, and it's never recovered past that point except for a wick. We caught it at 104,700. We caught it at 100,400, and we were targeting 97,000 before it rebounded at around 98.2 and came all the way up to 108 and change. And now, ladies and gentlemen, you're about to get that same dump off, and it's going to break 97,000. Higher high, higher, lower high, lower high. Higher, lower low, lower low, lower low. It's making the same pattern over and over again. The reason why I believe it's going to target 97,000 is because of uncovered price action. It's going to be at the bottom of this rally that it had way back on May the 8th. If it breaks 97,000, you're then going to see a drop to 93,500. The last time it was at this price was way back on May the 6th. And this price action has not been covered up. If it breaks 93,500, it's going to continue all the way down to 75,000. It hasn't been at that price since April the 9th of last year. As you see, there's nothing to keep it from being in free fall if it breaks 93.5. It'll be below the 200 EMA, and this move is going to be very fast. It is going to obliterate the rest of the altcoin market along with it. In a worst case scenario, if the carnage continues, you need to go up to the weekly to see this. Now you're looking at a drop below 75,000 to around 68,250. The same area that Bitcoin was at way back in October 2024, before it broke out to the upside to reach its all-time highs. If it falls below that range, it's going to hit to around 54,700, which I believe will be about a full reset for Bitcoin, in which case we will then probably see some type of recovery. So at a worst case scenario, we'll have a 50% loss on Bitcoin. Needless to say, that means that a good chunk of the altcoin market will be completely wiped out to zero. And what's going to remain are the coins that are going to benefit from this probably last time rally that you're going to see, for people to really get in at decent prices and benefit from profit maximization and multiplication on the coins that are left. So be very careful of rug pulls, but be very cognizant of the fact that at this point, because of other geopolitical factors and whatever the Fed might do in terms of interest rates, Bitcoin might be in a little bit of trouble, at least in the short term. But once that rally starts, which I believe is going to be a retest around the 200 on the weekly, it's going to be pretty extraordinary. So you're going to expect to see a lot of red this week on cryptocurrencies. That's fine. Retracements do happen, and you want it to happen. Because the market's constantly going up and up and up, that means you have unhealthy price action, and you can have a very huge vector that could take you out of the market. And you will go to sleep comfortably thinking that you're in profit and wake up and your account will be gone. So we have a number of opportunities that we're in and tracking. This is the current active trades list. As you can see, this middle section here are all crypto perpetuals that we're in. About 40 of them. So kind of waiting on those opportunities in the market. We did hit wins on NASDAQ 100 and SPX 500 last week. NASDAQ 100 hit on Wednesday. S&P 500 hit live on the live on Friday. So we may get more opportunities if we have retracement on US 30, SPX 500, and NASDAQ sometime this week. But as for right now, we're just in Aussie 200, which seems to have retraced a little bit, French 40, and UK 100. And we're in two different futures trades. We hit take profit on half of our exotic trades last week. So the ones that remaining are pretty rapidly approaching take profit. An example of that is USD versus South African Rand. So with that being said, it's now 2:15 in the morning. We do have some opportunities to enter the market. Let's go ahead and evaluate those. We have the euro versus New Zealand dollar. This is a 15-minute reconfirmation of the trade that we entered quite some time ago. So the target is above our original take profit. We will be hitting take profit on euro versus the New Zealand dollar, targeting 1.94075. If you're looking for an opportunity to get in this particular trade, I will recall it for your benefit since you're on the live. Your entry would be here. Your target would be 1.94344. All right. So you've got a 4.9 with the reward ratio with a take profit of 1.94344. Let me get these parameters down for you and I'll get this called out. One moment. And this is Euro NZD 4.90. Where's the reward ratio? Targeting 1.94344. And that's going to be 408 pips. Stop loss is 1.93047. And that's going to be for 22 pips. And entry price is 1.93267. All right. So here's your first call of the night. Good morning, Jess. Euro NZD. This is the euro to the New Zealand dollar, 15-minute confirmation. Market execution buy. Your entry price is 1.93267. Your stop loss is 1.93047 for 22 pips. Your take profit is 1.94344 for 108 pips. And a risk to reward ratio of 4.90. And I'm calling this exclusively for the live. I'm not giving this to the groups at all that I call signals for. This is for you as a thanks for being here to support. We do have one other opportunity we'll take a look at. I believe I saw odd Swiss franc pop off. Let's take a look at that. So this one wasn't called out at all. Fast moving. This is going to be a sell-off to 5.1936. That's going to be for 20 pips. Let's go ahead and lengthen the stop. AUD, CHF, the Australian dollar to the Swiss franc. It's a 15-minute confirmation sell with a 4.06, which is the reward ratio. Take profit at 0.51936. And that's going to be for 20 pips. Little quick snack. Take profit is 0.52189. That's going to be for 5 pips. And entry price is going to be 0.52139. And here's your second call of the night. Australian dollar versus the Swiss franc, AUD, CHF, 15-minute confirmation. Market execution sell. Entry price is 0.521. Ooh, did I have an extra number? 51936. Hold on. $52139. I did. Pardon me, I am still waking up. Get rid of this one. Your entry price is going to be 0.52139. Stop loss is 0.52189 for 5 pips. Take profit is 0.51936 for 20 pips. And a risk reward ratio of 4.06. So that'll start off the night for us. We've got some additional opportunities possibly coming in the market at 2:30, around 9 minutes from now. I was just talking about this eventuality on the market with a friend of mine, Rume, who I met on Clubhouse a couple of hours ago. We were on the phone. He was in Nigeria, and explaining to him why Bitcoin was going to fall off this week. And it happened very quickly. So this is still early, but you're going to see very, very deep losses on cryptocurrency for multiple days. While we're at it, let's take a look at the news. Let's see if we have anything major for today. And the answer is no. There's a lot of volume of news, but there's no major news the biggest news items is going to be the release of the German preliminary consumer price index month over month. They'll be posting their figure anytime soon here. We do have comments at around 2 p.m. Central Standard Time by the president of the European Central Bank. At that point, European markets will be closed, so that may or may not have an effect. And it looks like we've got commentary by at least 2 members of the U.S. Federal Reserve that could cause some additional volatility in the American markets, which open at 7:30 Central Standard Time this morning. Let's see if we got anything else that's interesting here. So it looks like futures on the US 30, the S&P 500, and the NASDAQ are all up. S&P 500 and NASDAQ are already at all-time highs, so I would expect a rally at the opening bell on all three of these. Eventually, price action is going to crest off, and we're going to get an opportunity for a very quick sell. But I think any sell at this point is going to be short term. I don't see anything else that's of any interest to us in the short term. So, got a little under 5 minutes left to go to 2:30 in the morning, and we'll see what other opportunities we have. Until then, just for reference, here's the link to the current active trade bit. Should have all the markings for the different trades on there as well. I believe we're in 70 plus positions. In addition to that, if you are trying to go along with all the different trades that I'm taking, I do have 2 different brokers I'm using. The first is Liquid Brokers. This is going to have all the crypto perpetual trades that I call. These are cryptocurrencies versus USDT. They're the purple trades that you're going to see in the chat. So that's the broker that I use there as well. They do have a number of other assets, but I have another broker that has superior leverage on those. That's LHFX. Both of these are regulated brokers, so you don't have to really worry about depositing money or withdrawing money. They do pay out, and they are very stable. So those are the 2 brokers that I'm using, along with the active trade list. That link to the active trade list is dynamic, so it does toggle in live time to whatever we're in or out of. So you should be able to save that same link and have access to the active trade book so you can track along with me precisely how we're doing in the market. So there's no need to try and track each of those individually yourself if you're in trades. All right, so about 2.5 minutes left to go. And we'll see where we're at to start the night. Again, big red on cryptocurrencies, both spot and perpetual. That's good for our trade book because we're in a crap load of sales. And we're going to make a lot of money this week off of cryptocurrencies. By the way, if you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat. I'll get those addressed in live time, particularly if we enter any sort of lull in the trading action. Now, I will admit, I do not expect it to be as quick as it was on Friday. If you were here for that live for June the 27th, you know that we called signals nonstop for the first hour and 27 minutes of the live. The action was just nonstop. We're currently in most of those trades already. So what I would expect more than anything else is the possibility for some take profits hit tonight. But in terms of us getting into trades, it will be slower than how fast it was on Friday. And that's fine. Friday was extraordinary. If I remember correctly, we called out 47 trades. All right, about 30 seconds left to go. And we'll see if we get some action here. All right, it says we have a buy on euro to Swedish krona. All right, we've got aqua on the top, gray in the middle, blue on the bottom on an uptrend. This is a buy opportunity. We're going to be targeting 11.15184. On a long position, 11.514. Going to lengthen out this stop loss a little bit. All right, this is going to be for 384 pips. A buy on euro to Swedish krona. EURSEK. This is a 15-minute confirmation with a 3.78 risk to reward ratio. Take profit is 11.15184. That's going to be for 384 pips. Stop loss is going to be 11.10324. And that's going to be 402 pips. Entry price is going to be 11.1134. right, your next call on the night. This is a crypto perpetual. Sorry, this is a foreign currency exotic trade. This is the euro versus the Swedish krona, EURSEK. 15-minute confirmation. Market execution buy. Entry price is 11.11340. Stop loss is 11.10324 for 102 pips. Take profit is 11.15184 for 384 pips, and a risk reward ratio of 3.78. Let's go ahead and get this added to queue. And we'll track this. It is 3 minutes after the half of the hour, so I don't believe there'll be any other opportunities at 2:30. Next time frame is at 2:45 in the morning, about 11 minutes from now, at which point we'll see if we get any other additional opportunities to enter the market. So always fun to see something fresh. Again, most of our action is going to be on the substantial amount of trades we have in cryptocurrency, both spot and perpetual. We are in profit currently on euro versus SEK. I don't know if you can see it, but it's already in profit and climbing. This isn't exotic, so it's going to be a very fast moving trade. Very highly likely we see take profit on that before we're off of the live around 4 a.m. this morning. So nice little quick snack. And just like that, we're up 62 pips. I like it. Just over 9 minutes left to go to 2:45 in the morning. A little under 7 minutes left to go. When we were checking news earlier, I noticed that the futures on gold was up, which is why we're seeing this rally on gold versus euro, which was irritating. This thing was way, way up and then dropped off on us. We'll see what that ends up doing. But we've got very nice movement on euro versus the Swedish krona, which we literally just called. So it's hovering just over the top of the Asian session right now. And still pushing price action up. A little under 5 minutes left to go. A Just an update of where we currently are. This is since May the 2nd of this year. Again, for those of you that have been with me for a while, my health wasn't great until May. So that's when I started calling trades for the year. Currently, we're at 542 wins, 452 losses for a win rate percentage of 54.52%. And pips one of 1,680,574. So, proof of concept. A little 3 minutes left to go to 2:45 in the morning. Generally speaking, a good chunk of the action that we normally see here is between 3:15 in the morning and 3:45 in the morning. So I expect that to be the case tonight as well. little under 2 minutes left to go. One minute. Thirty seconds. And here we go. All right, looks like we have a buy opportunity on Euro to South African Rand. We're already in a buy on that. So this is a reconfirmation of that same trade. Looks like we did have some retracement. So it's an opportunity to get back in the same trade. Let's see what we're looking like. So yeah, it's pretty much the same trade. Again, I'll call this out for the benefit of the live. It's going to be targeting 21.10416. Let's give this a bigger stop. All right. It's going to be a 15-minute confirmation buy on Euro to South African Rand for a 4.01 risk to reward ratio, targeting a take profit of 21.10416. And that's going to be for 2,390 pips. Stop loss is going to be at 20.80552. That's going to be for 596 pips. And entry price is going to be at 20.86512. And here's going to be your next signal. This is Euro to South African Rand, EURZAR. 15-minute confirmation. Market execution buy. Entry price is 20.86512. Stop loss is 20.80552 for 596 pips. Take profit is 21.10416 for 2,390 pips, and a risk to reward ratio of 4.01. right, so everything's still quiet. Another 11 minutes left to go. This will be to the top of the hour at 3 a.m. Central Standard Time, in which case we'll see if we get any other additional opportunities to enter the market. So the latest two calls are exotics. One on euro to Swedish krona, the other on euro to South African rand, ahead of comments by the president of the European Central Bank at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is later this afternoon. Since these are buys, it implies a short-term rally on the euro. So it's likely that the president of the European Central Bank will have bullish commentary on the euro, which should help things out. It should also mean that you probably have some sort of rally on the euro itself. So let's take a look at the EXY, and it is up for the day. And it's on an uptrend. So definitely a solid play that the euro is going to rally against those exotic currencies. All right, I'll be right back. Got about 9 minutes left to go to the top of the hour. A little under 5 minutes left to go. Interesting. The dollar's losing value. And it's on a downtrend. The dollar's weakening. That means that tether is growing, which helps our downside bias. A little higher time frame. And we do have an uptrend on tether versus the US dollar. Okay. About 2 minutes left to go to the top of the hour. 3 a.m. Central Standard Time. As usual, we'll be going to about 4 a.m. Central Standard Time. If we don't have any additional opportunities at that point, then we'll go ahead and call the line for the night. And our next live will be Tuesday, July the 1st at 2 a.m. in the morning. Got to finish packing today because I'm moving tomorrow. So got to be incentivized to get in that bed tonight. One minute left to go. Okay, here we go. Normally it takes about 3 minutes for TradingView to get through all the assets that we do trade. So I'll give it a moment to see if it's going to call anything out. And we'll proceed from there to analyze the trade opportunities we do get. Okay. It's looking like it's going to be quiet at the top of the hour. Our next time market is at 3:15 a.m. About 10 minutes left to go. Short session. Well, but to be honest, all of you don't follow anyone that might be profitable. I'm fairly profitable, Gabosh. I do this every weekday, and the proof is kind of in the pudding. I do show all of my wins and losses. I do actually trade in live time. You're seeing it. So, not quite sure what to tell you, brother. We literally just called out Euro SEK and we're in profit. Fairly obscure pair, but it's there. It's an exotic. So tends to move pretty quickly if you catch it at the right time. Got about 6.5 minutes left to go. Still doing fairly decent on Euro versus Swedish krona, which we called out about a half an hour ago. It's about 20% of the way to take profit at the moment. About 5 minutes left to go. About 2 minutes left to go. Mhm. 1 minute. 30 seconds. Okay, let's see what we get. And it takes about 3 minutes for TradingView to go through all of our assets. So we're waiting for that to happen. We're still tracking Euro versus Swedish krona. Called this out about 45 minutes ago, and it is in profit. Hmm. All right. About 12 minutes left to go. So there will be no calls at 3:15 in the morning. Next time frame, 3:30 a.m. So as I expected earlier in the live, pretty quiet night in the market. I didn't check later in the week to see if we had any major news coming out that might be part of the issue. Let's take a look. So a metric ton of major news. It is non-farm payroll week. So starting tomorrow, a lot of news. Of course, U.S. markets are closed on Friday, July the 4th. The rest of the markets will be open. So you can expect to see lots of fireworks for the next few days. A little under 9 minutes left to go. Seven minutes left to go. About 5 minutes left to go. Four minutes. 3 minutes. Two minutes. One minute. Thirty seconds. All right, we've got some additional action. Looks like we have a buy opportunity on Swiss franc versus Japanese yen. Let's take a look at that. And this is an instance where the call is not valid. So in this particular case, we've got the gray on the top, the aqua in the middle, the blue on the bottom. This is consolidation. So you see price below the 50 and the 200 EMA, which means that these are areas of resistance. Price would have to break through both of these to get to take profit, which is unlikely. What is more likely is that price will continue to decline. So as you go up on the time frame, that's what you would expect to see. It's been dropping for quite some time. Yeah, there's a lot of downside. This could drop all the way down to 179.548. So definitely not a buy at this point. Meanwhile, we're still tracking Euro versus Swedish krona. We called out about an hour ago. starting to do quite well. It's up 78 pips. And we're in this for 384 pips. So next time frame is going to be at 3:45 a.m. It's a little over 12 and a half minutes from now. About 9 minutes left to go to 3:45 in the morning. All right. A little under 6 minutes left to go. I told you guys exotics hit different. We're up 153 pips and climbing on a signal call that we called out an hour and 15 minutes ago. And it is just straight up busting. Fire call on euro to Swedish krona. All right. New 15-minute candle. We don't have any immediate calls. Again, about 3 minutes after the 15-minute mark is normally when we can call to see that there's nothing that's going to come out of it. Next and final time frame for us is going to be at 4 a.m. That's the top of the hour, just over 14 minutes from now. All right, 10 minutes left to go. Just under 50% to take profit on Euro to SEK. You should expect that to hit take profit sometime later this morning. Congratulations for those of you who took it. We're also in profit on Euro to South African Rand, which we also called out at the same time. That's got a long way to go, but it's heading that direction. About 7 minutes left to go. All right, we're officially past the 50% mark to take profit on Euro versus SEK, up 188 pips and climbing to 11.15184. We've got 4 minutes left to go to the top of the hour. If you found value in the live, I do encourage you to subscribe to the channel, to hit the like button, and to turn on your notifications so you can keep abreast of when I do go live in the market. I am the Pit Messiah, your host for the Quiet Storm live trading session for June the 30th, 2025. The Quiet Storm is held every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 2 a.m. Central Standard Time. So the very next live will be tomorrow morning, July the 1st at 2 a.m. About 3 minutes left to go to the top of the hour. One minute. All right, so it's 4 o'clock in the morning. We don't have any additional action. I'll see you at 2 a.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow.